What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Handmade Business Secrets podcast. And today I want to talk to you about how to continue building your woodworking business while you're still working your full-time job. Let's dive in. All right, well, welcome back to the show. Thanks so much for your ear, for your eyes, if you're watching this on YouTube. I just appreciate your attention. I hope this is valuable to you. And I want to talk to you today specifically on how to build your woodworking business while you're still working a full-time job. Now, this is how it's going to start for most of you guys out there that are thinking about starting a woodworking business, is that you're not going to just cold turkey, quit your job, and start a woodworking business. I would not recommend that unless you are extremely well-versed in the world of business, okay? But there's several steps that I'm going to give you today, and I want to encourage you to stick around for the last step in this video because it's going to be really, really important. I want to start with the first thing today. The first step on how to build your woodworking business while you're still working your full-time job is automate, eliminate, and delegate. Automate, eliminate, and delegate. So the reality is you're going to have a very finite amount of time in each day. How much you got? You got 24 hours. You got the same 24 hours that I have, that Elon Musk has, that Jeff Bezos has. Jeff Bezos is working on he's playing a different game than we are. He made, I think it was $24 million an hour or $40 million an hour last year. What he's been able to do is he's been incredibly efficient at automating, eliminating, and delegating inside of Amazon. Obviously, comparing our small woodworking business startup to Amazon is hilarious at this point in the game, but it's ultimately something that you can still do. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at, we're going to say, okay, I'm working a full-time job. I'm working 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day. Somewhere else, I have a family, I have other responsibilities. So how am I going to get this thing off the ground? Well, I have to really focus on the tasks that only I can do. What things can I automate? I can automate a lot of the online stuff that happens. I can automate stuff on my website. I can automate stuff, messaging. I can automate emails that go out. I can automate a lot of that stuff, right? What can I eliminate? What things am I currently doing that I really shouldn't be doing? That's kind of a waste of time. And then third is, what can I delegate? What can I give to somebody else? And this is where a lot of people go wrong. Most people, I say go wrong, it just really depends on what you want, what you value. But a lot of people would rather have 100% of the pie, but it be a small pie, as opposed to just growing the pie and taking 50% of the pie or 40% of the pie. Jeff Bezos only owns 19% of Amazon, right? He built this giant thing, but only owns a small portion of it, but it's made him ultra wealthy because he built something that was a great opportunity for other people. And so we got to figure out, how are we going to delegate? And that leads me to my second point today on how to build your woodworking business while still working your full-time job, is to hire a worker other than you and pay them commission on what they get accomplished. Here's the reality. While you're at work, nothing's getting done in your business. Like if you're actually at work doing your work and you don't have anybody else inside the business, then the business has hit the brakes. There's nothing going on, right? The whole idea here is that you can actually pick up speed and gain traction because I have somebody else working inside this business and I'm paying them a commission based on what they get accomplished. One of the worst things that I see people do is when they make that first hire, they pay them by the hour. They're not there to manage them or oversee them, and they can't really track whether or not they're working efficiently or not. So what happens is when you pay somebody a commission based on what they get done, they want to work faster. They want to work harder because the more that they can get done, the more money they can make, right? This is one of the best steps that you can do right out of the gate is if you got to the point where you're consistently getting some orders, but you're only going to be able to fulfill what you can do while you're there in your business if you don't have anybody else inside your business. And so one of the best moves you can make is saying, instead of me taking 100% of the profit and it only working, me being only able to work on the business 2 to 3 hours a day or 4 hours a day because I'm working this other job, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have someone in the job or inside the business 8 hours a day building the products, doing the things while I'm working on this other component of it. And I'm not going to get greedy on the front end. I'm not going to take all the profit. I'm going to pay them for all the labor that they do, and then I'll be able to make a profit on the other side of that. For example, one of the key metrics that we always look at inside of businesses when they join the coaching program is I want our material costs to be around no more than about 30% of whatever it is that we're selling. And then I want our labor cost to always be 20% or less. And so one thing you could do is if you didn't do any of the building, you could pay out a full 20% commission to whoever builds your products, okay? Let's say this. Say you didn't even want to build at all. You brought in an experienced woodworker. I'm going to pay you 20% of every project that you get done. They do $5,000 a week. Well, they're going to make $1,000 a week. That will encourage them to move quickly and stay efficient, okay? So here's the third way to build your woodworking business while still working a full-time job, and that is scheduled work time. One thing that I found was a huge weakness of mine was that I would get burnt out, and I don't feel like working, and I'm not doing it. Because you're working a full-time job, and you're trying to run a family, and you're trying to do all these things. And so if I did not plan and schedule my time, regardless of how I felt, I wasn't going to do it. There was an episode that I just recorded that's right before this one where I'm talking about how to have a healthy marriage while you build your business. One of the most important things that you can do to have a healthy marriage is sitting down and planning out your week and over-communicating. Well, during that time, even if you're not married and you're trying to figure out when am I going to work on my business, just to schedule it, to plan it, and to stick to the plan. Most of the time, we fail in business not because there isn't a plan, but because we make a plan and then we just go rogue against the plan. We don't do what we're supposed to do. That's one of the main things that I constantly am just reminding my team of is like we've implemented the systems to be successful. We just were failing because we didn't run the play. We didn't implement. We didn't do the system. The system was there, and it was built to be successful. We're just not doing what we're supposed to be doing. And so, same for us as owners. Same for us as somebody that's trying to get out of corporate America, trying to get into our own thing. Is that if the same way that you follow regimented plans and schedules and things at your day job, you got to implement that inside of your own business. And so, number 4, this is how you build your woodworking business while still working a full-time job. And this is where it's just not sexy and it's not attractive, and that's just early mornings and late nights. Early mornings and late nights. I want to just encourage you, though, that this is only a seasonal thing. If you can commit to this for, say, 6 months, a year, that I'm going to work really hard for the next 12 months, you can step out of your full-time position that you're working at, and then you can work on your business during the day like a normal person, right? But you have to have that drive and that willingness out of the gate to give more than the bare minimum. The bare minimum is what 98% of the world gives to everything that they do, and that's why they're just really not killing it. You know, they're not people that we aspire to be. They're not people that we look at and we say, man, I would trade my life for theirs. I actually was at a leadership conference last night, and Dr. Darius Daniels, he's a really well-known speaker, teacher, coach, pastor. He said, what we do today is an indicator of our faith in the future. Okay, I'm going to say that again. What we do today is an indicator of our faith in the future. And what that means is that if I don't have faith in what I'm going to do, if I don't have faith in the vision that God's given me, if I don't have faith in the business that I believe this could be, then I will not work accordingly today. But if I have big faith for tomorrow, if I have big faith for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now about what my future will look like, I have the faith to consistently do the hard work today to get me there. For example, right now, I'm recording this podcast and I'm putting out this YouTube video when I have like 400 subscribers on YouTube and about 400 weekly listens on each of my podcast episodes. That's not a huge audience. It's better than most. It's better than when I started, but I'm doing that because I have giant faith for where we're going to be in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. And I want to carve out a space inside of this niche to where I'm a voice that can speak into your life and into your business. And so I know that that's where I'm headed. That's what I'm going to do. And so we do the actions regardless of what that outcome might be. I detach, like, well, I've got to get this many subscribers for every new video that I post, or I've got to get this many new listens for every podcast episode I post. I've detached myself from that because if it doesn't happen the way I want to in one episode, most people would quit. Most podcasts only make it, I think 90% of podcasts only make it to like the first 6 episodes and they stop producing it, right? And so we're coming up on 90, 92, 93 episodes. I'm not sure which episode this is that you're listening to, but we're in this for the long haul. We're going to do it. And I encourage you to have that same mentality with your business, to where I'm committed to the early mornings and the late nights. So this is the fifth and final point in this video: how to build your woodworking business while still working a full-time job. This is two-faceted: work after family and then work before work. One of the big components that you'll always hear me talk about and teach is that we're not going to neglect our family in order to build a business. We're not going to do that. And I've gone through seasons of doing that. And what's really bad about this is that we will say that our family is the reason that we want to do it. We're lying to them and we're lying to ourselves. If our family is the reason that we want to build a business, then we won't neglect our family for that 6, 12, 18 months while we're building this business. We'll bring them along, we'll make them a part of it, and we'll give ourselves fully to the family while we also build the business. And so this takes a ton of work. It takes a ton of intentionality. It takes a ton of purpose, and you can't get sidetracked. But what we do is we work after family. So what that means is that I'm not coming home from my day job, getting out of the car, putting work clothes on, and not acknowledging my spouse, not acknowledging my kids, and getting to work. I don't want to do that every day. I want to spend time, even if it's 20 or 30 minutes or an hour. If you have a ton of work to get done, you're way behind schedule, we have to slow down and make sure that our family stays first. So we're going to work after family, and then we're going to work before work. So what this means is that I'm getting up and I'm getting after it before I have to go into my day job. When I am in seasons of being really great at getting to bed and getting up early and getting stuff done early, it is the greatest feeling in the world. It's like, if I could do this all the time, I would be unstoppable. And I want that same feeling for you. And if you're anything like me, you love sleep. I am not a morning person by nature, but when I can discipline myself to get out of bed and get busy in the mornings, it just sets up every single day for success for me. With that being said, guys, if this has helped you, and you're still walking and working a full-time job while you're trying to build your woodworking business or your handmade business or craft business or whatever that might be, let me know. Let me know in the comments, hey, yeah, I'm working a full-time job. This has been a challenging season, but these are some great things that I've seen come out of it. I want to hear from you. I want to connect with you. You can find me on social media. Find me here on YouTube, obviously. But make sure you subscribe, leave us a comment, and let us know where you're watching from. For those of you listening to the podcast, if you're a consistent listener and you haven't left us a review yet, man, genuinely, that would mean the absolute world to me. And so we're trying to give you the best of what we got and really encourage you and help you along the path to building your own business. And so with that being said, I'm going to wrap this episode up. I love you guys so much. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for your eyes, for your ears, and I'll see you in the next one.